Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for clicking the video. My name is Mark, and today we are talking about the SNES launch window titles, and we're doing a tier list for them. And we're not just doing North America, we're also doing Europe. So there may be a couple of titles on here that you might say, hey, that wasn't a launch title or that wasn't a launch window title. That's because in North America, it might not have been, but in Europe, it was. In Europe, the system launched almost a year later. And as a result, some games did become launch window games for the European release of the SNES. So therefore, I'm including all of them. There's 10 titles in total that I'm including in this list. There may be some that should be on the list that aren't. I did take a look to see whether or not there were any other games, and I didn't see any. So I may be incorrect. I may be correct in what I have on this list. But without further ado, let's get into it and see what there is. So the first game on the list is F-Zero. And I remember playing F-Zero as a kid, being a babysitter and going over to the kids whose house I was babysitting at and just playing F-Zero. And that was the extent of my babysitting experience. That and some other SNES games, but F-Zero for sure. The thing with F-Zero is that, as great a title as it is, and it really showcased the SNES's capabilities with regards to its graphical power. I found that there was limited things to do in F-Zero. Yes, it's a racing game, but that's really all there was to it, and there wasn't a whole lot of courses that you could race from. There were only 4 cars to choose from, and in that regard, it was a little limited. So for that reason, I'm actually going to rate F-Zero as a B title. Next up is SimCity, and I remember playing SimCity and being pretty awestruck with what it was able to do. I typically don't like strategy games, and I classify this as a strategy slash simulation game. So I normally don't like strategy slash simulation, but SimCity has a special place in my heart because of its simplicity and the fact that I played it for hours and hours on end. I remember creating massive cities, but then not wanting to use the catastrophes that are included in the game to destroy the city because that would undo all my hard work. And when a catastrophe came, I was never able to get the city back fully to what it was before the catastrophe came, like a tornado, for example. So for that reason, I didn't use the catastrophes. I really just enjoyed building the city and to see how populated I could get it and use up the entire map. Yeah. And for that reason, I think I'm going to list SimCity as an A title or as an A tier. Yeah. Next up is Lemmings, and Lemmings I don't have a ton of experience with. In fact, I never played it on SNES when it first came out. But I have attempted to play it since then, and I just don't get it. There must be something I'm missing. I tried all of the buttons. As you can see my gameplay footage here, I tried all of the buttons to see what I could do, and I wasn't able to do anything, and all the game did was had the lemmings run back and forth, as you see here. And I wasn't able to get them to dig or explode or do anything remotely interesting, despite having pressed all the buttons and tried to navigate through all the interface and tried different things. Now, obviously, you can do things. I just wasn't doing it right, and that may be part of the problem. Is just I just don't know how to play. But I'm actually going to have to give Lemmings a D tier for the reason that it was too difficult to come into and just play. Next up on the list is a game that I absolutely love. This was a banger back in the day, and it's, of course, Castlevania 4, or Super Castlevania 4, if you will. And graphically, everything from graphically to gameplay wise was spot on with this game. The controls were really tight. It had a great adventure, great story to play through. Killing the bad guys was satisfying. and it was just a ton of fun. And it was. I wish there were more games like this on the SNES. Of course, there's the other Castlevania. What is it called? Castlevania um, and Dracula or something like that. But this one was the best one as far as I was concerned on the SNES in terms of Castlevania games. For that reason, I'm actually going to give Castlevania 4 an S tier. It made the S tier, first game on the list. Next up is a game that I did play when I was a kid, but and I remember liking it more than I like it now, and that's because I didn't really know. Or when I replayed it just now, I didn't really know how to pass or shoot. Like I tried the different buttons, and I tried passing to the person that was lit up with an arrow above them. But it never seemed to acknowledge that, and the ball would go elsewhere. So the controls were a little wonky for me, and I do like a soccer game. I think they are fun. I do prefer baseball and hockey, of course, but at least for me. But that's not to say soccer's not a good game. It's just I wasn't able to understand the control scheme when it came to playing this particular one. Um, so I think I'm going to have to give Super Soccer a C tier. Only because graphically it's really nice for the SNES. It also shows off what the SNES can do in terms of graphical power. I think just with the back and forth on the field and just the scaling of the field, I think is really interesting. And the fact that they have real world teams, as far as I know, anyway. But for the you have to be able to jump in and just play. It's one of the big things I look for in games. So you just have to be able to jump in and play, and the game be intuitive enough to be able to do that. And like I said, I wasn't able to pass or shoot, regardless of the buttons that I would press. I thought I was passing correctly, and then the ball would go elsewhere. So yeah, definitely a C tier for me. Next up on the list is Super Tennis, and I didn't play this one as a kid, but I did load it up just now to give it a try and see what it was like. And this just wasn't for me. I'm not a huge tennis fan as it is to begin with, so I kind of am a little curious as to why they picked tennis as the one of the first sports titles that they released on the SNES. Just because I don't like tennis doesn't mean that there aren't people that like tennis. I just think there's more popular sports out there in North America, but maybe in Europe, tennis is more popular. I don't know. But I would have preferred baseball or hockey, being Canadian. Yeah, I don't know. Not a lot of memories with this one. It seems to sound wise, it sounds just like a tennis ball hitting a racket, which seemed satisfying when I was playing it. But other than that, there wasn't really anything that pulled me into this one. So for that reason, I'm going to give this one a C tier as well. Next up on the list is a game that I did play as a kid and had a lot of fun with it. You may be wondering why Gradius 3 isn't on this list. I wasn't able to find footage for it that was good enough for the video. But R-Type was also a launch window, or Super R-Type rather, was also a launch window game, and the games are similar. So Gradius, I'm not sure what I would have given it, or Gradius 3, I'm not sure what I would have given it had it been on this list. But R-Type, Super R-Type that is, was a lot of fun and controlled nice and tight, and graphically I think it was pretty good. I love the fact that there's multiple planets in the background all close together, which isn't very realistic, but be that as it may, it was a lot of fun to play. And for that reason, I'm going to give this one a B tier. It's sort of not really average, but not really spectacular either. So between A and B, I'd give it a high B tier. Next up on the list, of course, is Super Mario World, and this one, of course, is an S tier. It was the system seller when it came out, and what else can you say about Super Mario World? Control-wise, it was super tight, played like a dream. Was super fun to be able to play and go through all the different levels and solve all the different puzzles and secret ways to get through the levels and things like that. Um, yeah, what else can you say about this game other than the fact that everybody had it? It came with the system. Everybody loved it. Um, yeah, the introduction of Yoshi as a rideable character was really cool. And the cape was also a really neat mechanic as well. And this was the first time for that in a game as well. So definitely S tier on this one. Next one is another S tier game, of course, and one of my absolute favorites. As If you had seen my 5 top games ever, A Link to the Past, Zelda: A Link to the Past was just shy of getting it. I opted to go with Final Fantasy 3, but Zelda: A Link to the Past was definitely up there. And having played it a ton as a kid, I don't really remember anything like where to go and what to do now because it's been 30 years since I've played it, like really played it. But I do remember spending hours and hours playing it and staying up super late and just loving the game. Graphically, it still holds up today, of course, and it just was one of those games that you remember fondly, and it was a great adventure and just a ton of fun. Last but not least is Pilotwings, and I have a special memory with regards to Pilotwings. Not that it was a fantastic game for me personally. I'm sure there's people out there that absolutely love Pilotwings. For me, it wasn't anything special, although it did really remind me of a technical demo. Of sorts. Yes, it's a game, but it really is one of those games that I think are really just there to show off what the system can do in terms of scaling the graphics and I forget what that's called exactly. There's a special term for the type of movement and graphics that SNES has, and this game really showcases it. What is it called? I wish I could remember what it's called. I'm going to remember after I finish the recording. But nonetheless, Pilotwings was not a fantastic game for me. I found it a little boring, and for that reason, I'm going to give it a let's go with a C tier. So I don't believe. Yeah, no, I think that's my list. Yeah, these are the 10 games minus Gradius 3, of course, that I wasn't able to find footage on, nor was I able to find a copy of it to play and grab footage of it. So, yeah. Otherwise, yeah, that's my list. I wonder if you agree or not. Let me know in the comments if you do. And if not, if there's a different order that you would put these in or different tiers that you would put these in, I'd love to hear it. And I hope you like this type of video because it was a lot of fun for me to make it. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.